Selkie returns to the dock spot to take a break from her studies and find another job. The new dwarven bartender gives her several options. Selkie chooses to target a ship that has neglected to pay its fees. To that end, she tricks a salty sailor into rowing her out to it. Of course, being Selkie, things do not go according to plan. She tries to subdue the old man, but he puts up a fight, which in turn attracts the town guard, forcing Selkie into a skirmish. Despite Selkie using whatever dirty tricks she can, she ends up in shackles and dragged off to the dark cells. At least Selkie gets a few days of R&R as she lounges in her cell until the Sunblade visits her. After a short conversation where he expresses his grave disappointment, he leads her from the cells. He tells her to go to Sinteron and find the origin of the smugglers, both as a way to leave town and a way to redeem herself. Will Selkie find redemption in Sinteron? Will she be tempted to a life of crime? Will she ever return to Solstice? Let's find out now on Dicing with Death.
Hello everybody and welcome to Dicing with Death. How are you doing today, Ryan?
Hello. Not as low energy as you. What's up? Did you catch the plague?
No. I guess I'm just... You know what it is? We went out on Monday night to a friend's house. We went out to a friend's house. There were only 5 of us. It was a small gathering.
Did you maintain 6 feet between each of you?
No, absolutely not. But we did drink a lot of margaritas. And I think my old man body now needs 2 days to recover from a hangover instead of, a couple hours. So I'm just a little... I haven't had my coffee yet. I'm not quite 100%.
Is it the margarita, or was it the rubbing alcohol you were using to sanitize the glasses?
They told me not to drink the wood grain alcohol, but... Sorry, it's not wood grain alcohol. It's wood alcohol or grain alcohol, not wood grain. It's a very different thing.
Wood has grains.
It does, but I think grain alcohol means something very different than the patterning in wood. Maybe. So, what is going on?
So, not a lot.
Yeah. Well then, why don't we pick up where we left off, which is on our way to Sinteron. I do our lovely new maps.
Well, you're still in Solstice for now. I think you booked passage on a ship out of town, the Skimmer or something like that.
Huh?
You already paid your 10 gold or whatever it was for passage in the hold of the ship. I think after a run-in with some guards, you decided to hide out on the docks, sleep in an alley, and get your ride out first thing in the morning.
That sounds right.
Are there any preparations you'd like to do before leaving, or...
No, I think all the preparations I wanted to do
piece?
were a little too dangerous for me, so I'm gonna just chill and get all my components and stuff in Sinteron.
Yeah, shopping, going out in public can be pretty dangerous these days.
You never know what's lurking right around the corner from you. Maybe some sort of invisible stalker. I think for a disease, actually.
Alrighty. Okay. Why don't you roll a perception check?
It would be my pleasure to fail a perception check for you, Ryan.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
That's what I like to hear.
You have a restless night in the alley. have haunting dreams of being watched by thousands of disembodied eyes and find it difficult to sleep. But come dawn, you head to the docks.
Mm-hmm.
You can board the skimmer, and you can take to the seas.
Excellent.
What do you think the chances are that you shipwreck and wind up on Hobgoblin Island?
A lot higher than they were 10 seconds ago when I didn't even realize that was a possibility. Hobgoblin Island?
Yeah.
God, it's not even on the map.
It's not even on the map. Well, if we're on the map, you could just steer around it.
Oh, that makes sense. But we don't really know where it's going to be. I think the chances of ending up on Hobgoblin Island are slim to none. There is no way we could ever end up there. Not even a remote chance of happening.
Well, too bad you're not DMing. All right. So you slip aboard your ship. You are shown to a small hammock in the hold, and a little unlocked chest beneath it that are to be yours for the next couple of days.
Lovely.
Captain tells you may have free run of the ship, just stay out of the crew's way.
Okay. Do that.
And if you're feeling ill, your best bet is to stay on the top deck and look out at the horizon.
Just puke upstairs, please. Not downstairs. Yeah. Well, I will hopefully not have to puke at all. And, yeah. I will chill on the top deck as much as I can, getting a view of the lovely sea.
All right. You stand on the top deck and watch the walls of Solstice disappear on the horizon. And the smooth, if arid coastline and hills disappear, and nothing but the mountains in the distance poke above the horizon. You make your way to the open sea. Will be about a 3-day journey. Is there anything you'd like to do in this time? Are you trying to get any studying done? Any would you like to communicate with the crew? Or
I want to learn a little bit about where I'm going. Selkie has always sort of been a social pariah, living outside of the bounds of society, typically. So, for me, I want to learn about this place. What the fuck is actually in Sinteron?
Okay. There are other passengers on the ship.
Okay.
You spot them when you were getting the tour. You see 3 guards with curved swords standing amongst the hold, apparently keeping watch over whatever it is they're transporting. And you failed your perception check. You can roll another perception check or something for the ship, or charisma if that's any better.
Oh, it would be, but
yeah,
you can't fuck it up with a 19.
So you did spot someone who is not the captain going into the captain's quarters initially. You would assume another passenger who has booked the captain's quarters for the voyage, and so the captain is kicked out amongst the crew.
Interesting.
How do you go about gathering information about your destination?
I want to start first with the other passengers. I want to look for someone who is going to be in my line of work, so someone who is armed, perhaps?
So
a
the
soldier?
so the other 3 passengers who are in plain sight are all armed. They all look to be, if not soldiers, then guards.
Mm-hmm.
And they are standing around, loitering around the below deck as if on duty, on guard.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on when you approach them, they may all be actively guarding, but within an hour or 2 of leaving shore, they sort of stand down and sort of rotate through, and you may catch them playing cards or killing time.
Then I guess I'll... Did you say that none of the other passengers were armed? It's just the guards?
All of the other these guards are the only other passengers.
Oh, okay.
There are 3 guards taking passage. The guards are not of the crew.
Oh, okay, got it. I was confused for a moment.
Yeah.
Sure. Then I will.
There are maybe
up
20
to
or
the
so,
guards.
20 or so sailors, 3 guards, and then this mysterious passenger in the captain's quarters.
Right. So I'll start with the guards. I will approach them, hopefully while they're wandering around on deck in between card games, maybe when they're taking a leak overboard or something. And
so on the top deck.
On the top deck, yeah. I want to start in broad public.
Yeah, one by himself, leaning over the top deck, sort of retching overboard.
How's it going, sailor?
He hasn't thrown up, but he's like doing the
the moment when you're like, maybe I don't need to puke, but I probably should. Yeah. There. So I'll just start with the friendly. How's it going, sailor?
He glances over to you. I'm no sailor, and
I can tell.
First chance I get, you won't catch me alive on another boat like this.
Well, what was
Is it always this rough?
Rougher sometimes. If you're so sensitive, what brings you all the way out here? Why risk the voyage?
Work's work.
What's work for you? Looking for new jobs in Sinteron?
Leans up against the railing and looks over to you. I got a job, he says.
I look at him expectantly and let the awkward silence pressure him into elaborating.
He chokes down his gag reflex and does his best to perk up, as if isn't it obvious what my job is? Am I not a burly man? Do I not look like a guard to you? But doesn't necessarily say anything.
Are you working on the ship, or are you being imported for your fine talents?
No. We're based out of Solstice, he says. But, tagging along to babysit this shipment.
This shipment? You moving something fun? I say, sort of making small talk, but not really staring at him in the face, looking out over the ocean, as if I'm only half interested in the conversation.
Let's have you roll that charisma check now to surmise how this whole interaction will go.
As awkward as ever.
I don't know if awkward, but he's not feeling.
Sure.
His guard is still up.
That's fine. I'll change the subject when it becomes apparent.
he won't tell you what's in it. So,
when it becomes
none of my business, and certainly not none of yours.
Just making small talk. I've never been to Sinteron before. What's the place like? What can I expect?
He looks you up and down. Never been to Sinteron? You're going unprepared? I think part of this charisma check is he doesn't think much of you. He's like, well, if I were you, I'd catch the first ship back to Solstice, honey. Sinteron's no place for, delicate flower like yourself.
having never been called a delicate flower before. Selkie's a little stunned. Is this a compliment, an insult? It seems more like an insult than a compliment, but then again...
Why not both?
It could be both. Maybe, I don't... weird, interesting. It's fine. And then switches over to, well, I'd go back to Solstice if I could, but let's just say have more enemies than friends there now?
He hunches back over the railing.
He doesn't look like Solstice City
apparently
Watch, does he?
City Watch? No, he's wearing quite colorful clothes. Not even a particular uniform, and he's got a long, curved sword that is not typical City Watch uniform. His interest was apparently not piqued at your suggestion that you are a wanted badass. He resumes gagging over the edge of the ship.
I'll change the subject one more time if he isn't interested. Well, no, I'll leave it on Sinteron. So, are there other delicate flowers lounging around Sinteron? Is it a place of splendor and beauty and wealth?
I wouldn't call it that. It's a soggy, backwards jungle port, he says. Not much of a place for delicate flowers.
But certainly a place where there's a lot of money exchanging hands and a way to make a fortune, right? Filled with magic and wonder and mystery?
He gives you a sideways glance. It's like he's not really picking up what you're putting down. He doesn't seem too thrilled about the prospect of this voyage.
Clearly. I'll try one more time with this guy and ask him, know anything about the mysterious passenger who's taken over the captain's quarters? That doesn't seem to be quite usual.
It's the boss. He can afford to ride in comfort. So he does.
Anything that should concern me?
Concern? Only if you, and so long as you stay away from his wares, I think you'll be just fine.
Well, I don't have the capacity to pick up and haul a boat full of goods all by myself, so I think I'll let you off this time with a warning.
He grunts, maybe not getting the joke.
Yeah.
Maybe preoccupied with his churning belly.
I think I'll leave the poor sick man be. He's, we're not getting along very well. Politely smile and back away from him. Leave him alone. I think next I want to go up to one of the sailors during some off time. I assume they have some level of downtime. Or maybe when they're just mopping a deck or something. I will start over again and ask him what it's like in Sinteron.
Sinteron. It's a rough and tumble place. We typically stick to the ship if we can help it. Docks can be dangerous. Jungles even more so.
Much there in the way of magic? Spellcasters?
Magic. Hear tell the jungle's haunted by ancient ghosts.
Ooh.
Yeah. Treasure hunters come through from time to time. search of ruins, relics of lost civilization. Most don't come back.
That means there's got to be a whole horde of wealth just sort of trickling into the jungle, ripe to be pulled back out.
You talking about the dead treasure hunters? Most of them are broke. Elsewise, why would they be rooting around a haunted jungle?
What can you tell me about the fancy passenger? The one with, taking over the captain's quarters.
Why don't you roll a charisma check for this guy?
27.
Merchant. I think his name is Ilario. Master Ilario. I don't think anything too special. Grain merchant or something of the like. But
Not a wood
apparently
grain
he's
merchant.
rich enough to... Not a what merchant?
A wood grain merchant,
Wood grain?
though.
Could be. I'm not so sure. But apparently he's wealthy enough to buy out the captain's quarters, so... I don't think he's as important as he plays off to be.
They never are.
Fancy silks and private room, but hey, coin's coin.
Whatever pays the bills, I hear you. Could you recommend a place when we arrive in town that I could get my bearings in?
Get your bearings? How do you mean?
Yeah. I mean, is there an inn or a tavern in town that you'll be able to recommend me? I don't want to be wandering around and end up on the wrong side of the port.
Sinteron isn't exactly what you'd call civilized. Not a city by solstice standards. Most visitors tend to rent out private huts on the docks. If you can afford it, hiring a bodyguard wouldn't go amiss, but then again, tough to find someone you can trust. He looks you up and down. You've succeeded on your charisma check. Do you want to describe what how Selkie's looking these days? What she's wearing? How she's armed?
She's wearing the same clothes she was wearing in jail, which are the same clothes that she's had for a while now, so they're pretty mediocre. She's got her notebook with her and a few coins in her purse. And that's about it.
You lost your weapons, haven't you? Yeah, you are just down on your luck.
I got one shoe, I think.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
I think at this point I have no shoes. I'm not going to walk around in one shoe.
Most of the sailors walk on the deck barefoot too. Isn't that a thing?
Sure, yeah.
No offense meant, but you don't exactly look like you're prepared for, anything. What's, if you don't mind me asking, what's got you headed to Solstice?
I don't know. I want him to make a charisma check to see how much he can get out of me.
Walk this way, he says, and he continues to mop a little further down the deck so that he can keep talking with you and look like he's busy.
I'll walk with him while he mops. What is this guy's charisma check or some relevant score?
You want him to roll a charisma check?
Yeah. Look, who does this guy think he is? I'm not just gonna put out information just for any sailor.
He's not repulsive, but he's swabbing the deck, so he's clearly not the highest in the pecking order on the ship.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
What more do you need? He fails his charisma check, if that's what you were wondering.
Yeah.
With a 19, he was close.
Close. He asked me what I'm doing over there.
Yeah, he said you didn't look prepared for much of anything. Why? If you don't mind me asking, why are you headed? He sees you hesitate. He says, "Never mind. You're a guest aboard our ship. I shouldn't be prying."
Oh, I don't mind the prying. I just don't know how much to let slip till I know who is trustworthy and who's got loose lips.
Well, I'm Danny. He sticks out a hand, and you think they'd trust me with all these dirty secrets? He kicks the mop bucket if I couldn't keep my lips shut.
I'll take his hand. Selkie is the name, and I suppose you have all the secrets you need. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Let's just say there's a certain man back in Solstice that has sent me to keep an eye on something for him out here. It rhymes with Sunmaid.
I don't think he picks up what you're putting down. If you want to spell it out for him, you can.
No.
But
If he can't figure it out, then he's not worth my time. I'll make some more small talk about it. I don't think did he give me a recommendation for a tavern or an inn?
he told you that he said there aren't going to be inns or taverns like they used to. He said most people rent out private rooms on the docks, and he suggested hiring a bodyguard if you could afford one or could figure out a way to vet one that you trust. Yeah.
Okay. I will politely leave the sailor be. No, and I think that'll be it for me. I don't have anything else I need to get out of these people. I've got the name of the grain merchant or whatever, which I doubt he's actually a grain merchant, but I'm content as is. I will play it cool for the rest of the voyage.
Very well. We can skip a few days. Would you like to get anything done? Any spell research or anything? Or are we just skipping 3 days ahead?
Let's see.
If you
Well, I don't
roll
have a
a successful
library.
Constitution,
Can I do any research without a library nearby?
probably not, unless there's a specific spell that we could consider this field research for. Unless you have like some sort of like water or ocean or navigation related spells.
Answer's floating disc? Because I am floating above the surface of the water, and it's giving me insight into the dynamics between solid objects and fluids, be they liquids or gases, and how they might interact and the pressures one might need to propel a disc through empty space.
Is Tensor's floating disc a first level spell?
It is.
No. We can earmark this that you're thinking about it, but
Okay.
okay. So,
Then, I'm down to just chill.
all right. A couple more nights on the ship. You don't see head nor tail of the merchant. The guards keep watch over the goods in the hold. You come and go between the hold and the top deck, nap in your little hammock, and pass the time.
Okay. I chill.
The first day is actually quite calm, but after that, on open sea, it does get a little rough. You do need to hunker down below deck to avoid some rainstorms and choppy seas, but No shipwrecks, no hobgoblins, and roll a perception check.
This button 32.
On what should be the last night, you wake up to something not feeling quite right. Maybe a creaking that's a little out of place, coming from the section of the hold where the guards and the cargo is held. Peeking open an eye from your hammock, you peer over. There's a candle lit, almost burnt down to the nub, on one of the crates that the guards have been using as a table. And all the guards are passed out. One of them's in a chair, sort of passed out on the table with the candle nub burning.
Is there any money on the table?
Probably, actually. They've been gambling. But with, yeah.
I'm torn between just swiping the money and listening for sounds. But I guess I should move the coins so they don't fall and make noise that might distract things. So I will sweep some coins off the table and dip them into a pocket. Wait, what color are the coins? I'm not going to waste this with copper.
They're not copper. So you creep over to the table. Roll a move silently check. You do this without waking them.
26.
All right. You tiptoe over. You see about a half dozen silver coins littering the table, along with some discarded cards.
I'll take the half dozen.
And as you're sweeping up these 6 silver coins into your pouch, you notice that one of the crates behind the guards is open and discarded. This must have been the noise that roused you, but you were too focused on making your coin to catch whatever was going on in the act.
I will take a few steps over and try and peer in. When you say open, is it like cracked open or open enough that I could look in? Or I don't want to touch it.
Yeah, the lid has been completely removed and is like set next to it. And there are nails littering the floor around it. Well, I don't know, maybe like 8 nails or so.
Okay. I double check to make sure that there's not like a hammer or a crowbar nearby.
There's not, no.
Huh. I peer in.
The case is filled mostly with grain. I say mostly as in it is not entirely full, and it looks disturbed.
I will step back. My thinking is if someone was breaking into here to get something other than grain, then they've probably already gotten it, and I don't think I'm going to be able to decide what's in here, and the bigger risk is the guards waking up and thinking I was breaking in. So I will take a few steps back and jostle one of the guards, not the one that I was talking with above deck, though. Different guard.
Mm-hmm.
And I will, psst, psst, hey, wake up!
Well, he like instinctively goes to his sword, loosens it, and then sees you and is,
Points at the box.
He looks over his shoulder. That's peculiar. He stands up and walks over. Did you do this? He says, looking to you.
I hold my hands up and like give him a twirl to show I have nothing on me that can possibly pry open a box. Just these dainty girly arms.
Yeah, roll a charisma check.
Yeah.
You're fine. You woke him gently. He doesn't suspect you as a threat. He's perplexed. He could have opened this. And he sort of looks around. He looks in the box and he says, looks... So shifts the grain around of his hand. And, bye-bye. Stay safe. And, the guard picks up the lid and puts it back on the box. That's peculiar. He sort of looks around as if to verify that no one else saw. And,
I ask him, why would anyone break open a box of grain?
I don't know, but seeing as it's not your box and your grain, maybe you're better off not asking these questions.
Seeing as there's a thief aboard the ship, I have every inclination to ask a few questions for my own safety.
Who said anything about a thief?
Sorry, people don't just go prying open boxes out of curiosity. How many nails is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? You know how much time it takes to pry open a box with 8 nails in it? Right in front of 3 sleeping guards?
Hey,
Did
no
you
one
fall
will
asleep?
sleep in here.
I eye this guy and the others. Do any of them look elven or half-elven?
He stares you down. This guy does... he looks like he may have some... Actually, I should ask you to roll a check, but it's fine. I already looked. This guy looks like he may have some fey blood in him. He's got delicate features, high cheekbones, and pointy ears. But you would describe him as human. Probably. He says, I think you're asking too many questions, and I don't like what you're insinuating.
I'm
Perhaps
insinuating
you should,
that the
make your way back
elf
to your
in the
bunk.
group cast a sleep spell on everyone else and then pretended to fall asleep.
He roll, maybe I'll roll counter reaction. What's your charisma modifier
What does that mean?
for your reaction?
Oh,
check
my
or
reaction
whatever?
just is 0.
Is 0. Okay. All right. Okay. And I'll let you roll your own surprise check. So roll your d10 for surprise.
8. I am unsurprised.
You're not surprised. You can go ahead and roll initiative.
Five. I will be taking the dodge or parry action.
All right. Normally you would need to declare that before you roll for initiative, but you beat him, so it's fine. And he lunges for you. He tries to grab you with his hand.
I will do my best to
And,
dance out of the way.
And he fumbles. He trips over himself and lands on his face, rousing both of the other guards.
I have no idea. I'll stand there and look at the guy who fell on his face, sort of incredulously, and as the other guards start to rouse, point
Wake up,
in the
they
direction
look
of the
over.
box. Look! I say.
What's going on over here? And
look, the box! It's been opened!
The other guard pulls himself to his feet and he says, "Boys, detain this thief." And they sort of look to each other like, "Huh? What?" And
I shrug and
to his feet.
I make like the gesture to my clothes, like where could I hide anything? You know, I've got nothing but rags and no shoes. Right. The box.
The
I say
fallen
again.
guard makes his way to his feet. I guess we'll fall out of initiative order because he critically missed, and it sounds like you're not interested in continuing with the combat encounter.
Yeah, I don't want to fight these guys.
Okay.
This seems unfavorable.
But the
odds.
three of them, make their way to their feet and walk towards you.
I do not resist. I just sort of leave my hands, not like surrendering, but like shrugging, like I don't know what's going on.
All right. Yeah, the guard that you first roused says, "I don't know what you're playing at, but I don't like the way you're insinuating. I could have your hands for this," he says, pointing to the partially open box.
I'm insinuating that no one pries open a box right next to 3 outstanding young guardsmen without them being magically unconscious. There ain't no way someone could pry that box open without waking y'all up. So someone clearly must have put y'all to sleep, and if you, Mr. Man, are as half-elven as you look, you should probably have some innate resistance against that, which makes you seem like the sort of person who might have actually cast the sleep spell. I check, is he wearing armor of any kind?
None of them are wearing armor. They're on a ship.
Cross my arms, satisfied with my own logical deductions. Look at the other 2.
They look side to side, look to their companion. Roll a charisma check, I suppose.
Ooh.
No. I think they side with their companion on this one. What was in the box? You hear one of them whisper to the other, and there's like a shrug. And, "Hey," says the guard who you first woke up.
Fine, it's none of my business.
Say it again. I think you should steer clear of this. Go back to sleep.
I guess you guys should go back to sleep too, I say, and leave.
He growls at you, but ultimately lets you walk away.
Oh.
Or at least that's what he tells himself. The guards don't go back to sleep. The 3 of them sit together in a circle, exchanging hushed whispers.
Okay. So I want... Where is the captain's room in relation to this room? Can I leave this room and approach the captain's room without being seen by these guards, or are they directly in the path?
The entrance to the captain's room is through the hold. So there's a door ostensibly across... You're below deck, and there's a door maybe 20, 30 feet away from you guys, with a locked door that enters the captain's chambers.
That would be the captain's quarters right there. So that's not like there's another staircase that comes down closer to that.
No,
right?
In fact, the captain's quarters is closer to the staircase. I don't think we need a map, but there's like a staircase down, and like a captain's quarters is near there, and then you guys are like on the other side of the hold, or like within the hold.
So there is a staircase close to the captain's quarters, and we're like...
The only staircase is closed. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so if I were to leave, I'd have to go up these stairs and out. Sort of situation. Yeah. Okay. Well then, as I go to the staircase,
there's probably there are other ways out of here, but they are not super accessible. Like there are hatches that could open to unload cargo.
Right.
But the most direct exit is via the staircase.
Right. Okay. So I will take the staircase, and as I get close to it, I want to just stop by the captain's door and give the handle a little jiggle. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle.
It is locked.
I'll go up the stairs.
Okay.
Now, I don't
go
have
up on the deck. There's a light rain coming down, and a skeleton crew on duty.
I don't have any lockpicks. I suppose I could try to improvise some, but that seems like a bad idea. I would need, like, wood and a knife, and I don't even have a knife, so I'd have to steal a knife, and then try and carve myself some lockpicks out of wood, and then use them to unlock something. And all of that seems far-fetched at this moment in time. So I will... I guess I'll just wait. No, I'll go back to my quarters. I'll just go back to my quarters.
Yeah. Your quarters are just it's a hammock in this hold. In clear sight of the guards and the cargo.
Right. So I will walk around on the top deck a moment to give them some space, and then slip back down onto the staircase a little bit, see if I can maybe overhear the conversation.
Roll an eavesdropping check. You want to hear the conversation between the guards?
Yes, sir. 22.
They're trying to sort out what went down.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell was even in that box? And he's like, it's none of your business.
Mm-hmm.
I know Master got paid an extra sack of gold to bring something along. Not ask too many questions, but it's none of our business. And I assume this was part of the deal. With that elf, was she in on it? No, I don't think so. And conversation goes on like this for a little while, but it seems like they don't know any more than you do. They're trying to sort out what's going on with the box and if they're in trouble.
Can I make a
to do with it?
charisma check to see how believable they sound? Maybe there's one person who's a little,
Yeah, sure.
30.
The guard you roused first, the part elven one, seems to have more answers than the others. Mm-hmm. So the other two appear totally in the dark. The elf was the one that told them that their boss got paid a little extra to slip something in with the cargo.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also trying to quiet them down. So he maybe knows a little more than the others, but it's not like any of them are. It's not like they're trying to lie for your sake.
Right. Right. Okay. And all he mentions is like a little something extra. There's no.
Yeah, it seems he genuinely doesn't know. He just knows that some money changed hands to take something else with the cargo, or to turn a blind eye to something. But
right.
He doesn't know what it is, and they're also getting paid to not ask questions. So don't rock the boat, if you will.
Huh. Okay. I will then just walk back to my hammock, ask the guards, giving them, no attention. And probably spend a sleepless night in my hammock between the tossing of the ship and the curiosity as to what these people might be up to. Rest.
Mm-hmm.
Sleeplessly.
All right. Okay. The following morning, you hear the cry of land ho as dawn approaches.
Really? Still storming?
No, the storm will have broken by the time you make landfall. And you make your way to the top deck, I assume?
Mm-hmm.
And you see a lush green coastline coming into view. As you get closer, you notice that the outlying coast is a handful of small islands that your ship weaves its way amongst and past.
Okay.
A few hours later, you will make landfall.
How many HP did I gain upon this voyage?
I think you're at full, aren't you?
My character sheet says 4.
You spent a week in jail.
Oh, maybe I updated the token and not the sheet. Okay.
Yeah, I think you should be back to full.
Okay.
Yeah. So a few hours later, you find yourself your ship approaching a river delta, spilling out from the lush jungle before you. Sinteron is less a city and more a collection of huts and docks and shacks, spanning the mouth of one of the larger of these rivers.
Well,
your ship makes anchor a few hundred feet off of the shore. And you can hop aboard the first rowboat to shore if you'd like, while the guards, the merchant emerges as you drop anchor.
Ilario.
Yeah. In his flowery silks, to oversee boxes being arranged and prepared to be unloaded. But if you'd like, you can just catch the first rowboat ashore and leave the merchant and his mysteries behind.
Yeah, I'll take the first rowboat to shore. I don't know if I'm going to quite leave the merchant and his mysteries behind. I'll hang out on the first dock and keep an eye on the ship to see when the merchant disembarks with their gear.
Yeah, roll a perception check.
25.
As you are rowing away, you spot something peculiar on the underside of your ship. Your first thought is it looks like a person clinging to the side of the ship, just underneath the, what do they call the bowsprit thing on the front? The bowsprit. Yeah, there's not actually a bowsprit so much. It's like carved wavy
bowsprit
decoration, but underneath that bowsprit. So you think is a person. You're some hundreds of feet away from the ship and departing. But you see a fleshy-toned
humanoid thing underneath the bowsprit.
Yeah. It's like maybe an enormous starfish suction to the side of the ship.
I pull out my secret looking glass and get a better look at 10x magnification.
Roll your perception check with advantage. No, you don't have a secret looking glass. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I will gaze upon it for a while, trying to sort it out. Does it move?
It does not. It holds perfectly still. And yeah, I don't know what more to describe. It's
You know what? It's fine. Whatever wants to cling to the bottom of a ship, whatever is voluntarily keel hauling
That's
itself.
probably the most logical explanation. It looks like an enormous starfish clinging to the bottom side of the ship.
Yeah. I have no weapons. I'm not going to go try and fight it. In fact, fuck the ship. I'm just going to go try and get some essential gear. I'm going to need a short sword or a dagger I'm going to need a few spell components, some bags to hold them within. I'm going to need my thief lock-picking kit again as well. So, first things first,
Okay. So,
weapons.
This rowboat pulls up to the outer docks, and before you is Sinteron, an interlocking network of wood and rope spanning this river. All around you are sailors, merchants, soldiers of every size, shape, species, going about their business. Has Selkie ever encountered, I don't know, say a gnoll?
No.
Or lizard folk? I guess you saw that one getting arrested.
Right.
But you probably take it all in and wonder.
I do. I will.
A one-legged sailor with a parrot atop his shoulder, talking his ear off.
I will take in the sights and the sounds and the smells as I wander the docks, keeping an eye out for some sort of weapons trader or dealer, or maybe someone who has recently bought weapons that I can, find out information from about where to get some of my own. But I need to be armed.
Yeah, most everyone you walk past is armed. A group of gnolls, or maybe from stories you can assume they're gnolls. They're tall, hyena-faced humanoids, armed to the teeth, with teeth, licking their lips and eyeing you.
Not getting the right sort of vibes from those guys. I will try to ignore them and keep an eye out for weapons.
Yeah, you hear the hammering of a blacksmith's hammer near on one of these first docks. Mm-hmm. Just as you get past the this main dock where the ships are unloading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the first things is a little blacksmith's hut, repairing small tools and the like. But there are a few blades amongst the midst.
I will stop off at the blacksmith's hut and see if there is a knife or a short sword for sale.
Yeah, I mostly do repair work, but I've got a few blades for
lovely
for sale.
I'm gonna need a short sword. Nice short thrusting blade. Get right between the ribs.
You say?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the preferred blade of this guy happens to be a human. Of jungle explorers is the machete. Ideal for slashing and hacking through thick foliage. But
well, why don't we go one short sword and one machete? I hear they're great for throwing at people, especially criminals.
I don't know how well they throw.
There was a play back in my hometown about a guy named Machete who kills people by throwing them.
Step this way. He sets down his hammer and gestures you sort of around the forge to a rack of blades. There's only about 5 blades on this rack. Long knives and short swords of varying supply. So there's 2 of those hacking machetes. It's a standard short sword, a few long knives.
Well, I will take
I think I've got some more traditional knives in a case somewhere under here. And, you can buy what you are looking for.
I want a machete, a short sword, and a dagger.
All right, let's do some math. Let's see. Did you decrease the cost for a dagger?
I thought it got increased to 300 copper instead of 200.
Oh, so Wait, 300 is
3 gold.
3 silver. 3 gold.
Yeah.
So a short sword should be 20 gold?
Yes, I ended up, I think, bumping prices up for weapons at some point.
How much gold do you have?
At 45. No, short swords are 20 gold. They used to be 15.
Alright, I will consult my own tables. I swear there was a machete in combat and tactics, but maybe I'll just have to treat it as another short sword.
I think there is. It's probably in one of those. Combat and tactics is weird sometimes. Because they like break down prices by age.
Time period, yeah. Machete is its own thing. D8 it's basically a long sword.
It is. It seems wonky to me. I can't imagine a machete doing D8 damage.
I mean, it's a nasty weapon, but...
I just don't... I mean, it's nice and light, so you can swing it quickly, and you can hack through things, but I imagine the blade on a machete gets dull from all the hacking, and it's probably less useful for cutting.
Yeah. I feel like maybe it should have like a penalty to hit and do the D8 damage, or I think I'll just treat it like a short sword.
Yeah.
Let's see. So the 2 of those, 15 each, plus the dagger, 3 gold. So we're looking at 33 gold, all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
For 1 dagger and a dagger, short sword, a machete.
33, you say?
Yeah.
I will happily pay it.
I think we'll just mechanically treat the machete as a short sword.
Okay.
However, if it comes up, it'll do hacking, slashing damage rather than piercing.
Okay.
And it can be used as a tool.
Okay. I have it as...
You could always see what a scimitar looks like. Or a saber. They greatly overcomplicated weapon system in 2E.
Mm-hmm.
Scimitars are basically a long sword as well. All right, you fork over 33 gold without that question? Okay.
Lost my blessed leather blanket while I was in jail as well.
That's what it was. It was a blanket.
Yeah, blessed leather.
That was a family heirloom.
Well,
The last thing you had of your mom and dad.
I forgot that it was on my character sheet, and I forgot to go back and get it. Now I think I'm in Sinteron. I'm like, oh yeah, family heirloom. Oh fuck. Well, I guess I was always bad family member. Probably find a way to get that back. I'll get back to Sinteron eventually, and if it's actually blessed leather blanket, someone probably has it. It's too valuable to be lost. It'll be fine. Someone will take care of it before I return and pick it back up. She lies to herself to make herself feel better. Now, the next step is a few spell components, and then my lockpicks and stuff. So I need to gather a little bit of soot and salt, string and wood, a bell, some fine silver wire, and maybe some blessed leather. So I think I can get
let's start
like
with
little
a
bits of
charisma check.
wooden string, no problem. My charisma check. 26.
Okay. I think you spot some bridges away on the shore a small hut with a fence made of bones and a bunch of crows resting on the roost that just screams witch's hut.
Love it.
That seems like the kind of place to pick up spell components.
Excellent. Why don't we pick up some spell components on the other side of our first break?
Sure. Let's do that.
We'll see you guys on the other side. Bye-bye.